The government is expanding access to a tax credit for Canadians who turn to reproductive technologies to start a family. This measure, you might remember, was announced in last week's budget, and it makes single women and same-sex couples eligible for this break on reproductive technologies, even if they're not directly related to a medical infertility condition. The 15% tax break will also apply retroactively for a 10-year period. Joining us to explain some of these changes is Dr. Prati Sharma. She's a physician specializing in infertility treatment at the CReATe Fertility Centre. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and Anne-Marie, thank you so much for having me on the show to discuss this very relevant topic that's really near and dear to my heart.
I imagine. Let's start with how big of an issue this is in Canada.
Well, infertility affects many, many patients. I would probably say that 1 in 8 couples suffers from infertility. This amounts to about 15 to 20% of the population, and this number is probably steadily rising from year to year. In addition to those patients that are deemed medically infertile, many single women and same-sex couples require assisted reproductive technology in order to build their family. So it's really a prevalent issue.
Can you explain for us better how this tax break will work? Because right now, this is something that's monitored province by province in terms of coverage.
Correct.
So what can this tax break apply to?
So previously, patients had to prove that they were medically infertile before they could apply their treatment costs towards taxes. Now, you don't have to say that you're medically infertile, and so the breadth and depth of patients that could be covered by this tax credit has certainly increased. And any patient who's undergone assisted reproductive technologies in the past 10 years and also prospectively, whether or not they're infertile, can apply their costs towards receiving a tax credit.
Well, this is what's so fascinating to me is also the retroactive aspect of this, and 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Why do you think that they put that in there?
You know, I think that it really goes back to the fact that infertility is a rising problem, and many, many women are delaying childbearing. Many couples are deciding to hold off on treatment for fertility because they have other things in life that they want to pursue. And so over the last 10 years, we've really seen a huge rise in patients coming to our clinic to do egg freezing, to start families using third-party reproduction. Lots of patients are older and starting their families at a later age, and this can involve one or multiple cycles of treatment that has gone on in the last 10 years and will certainly increase going forward. And so I think the government is really recognizing that this is a growing problem and that some of the treatments are cost prohibitive to patients, and anything they can get back from this is really going to help more people move on to do treatment.
You brought up cycles of treatment, and you know we all know the stories that it can take more than one cycle of treatment in order to achieve pregnancy. So
Absolutely.
how many cycles does this tax break apply to?
It's unlimited, and so for those patients who've undergone multiple cycles, who've spent, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, they can certainly take their receipts to their accountant and hopefully receive something back.
Give us an idea of costs and how much a tax break like this could help.
Yeah, I think everybody's individual financial state is different. And just in general, infertility treatments can range from a couple of $1,000s to upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 over multiple cycles. So I think it's really important for patients to get a medical evaluation by their fertility doctor, get an estimation of cost, and certainly take that information back to their accountant and review their financial situation and get an idea of how much they're going to get back.
Often when something new like this comes into the budget, and we did see this, you know, the last time anything was applied to reproductive cycles, is people who say, look, these are my tax dollars. This is not an issue that I struggle with. Why should my tax dollars go to cover, you know, a reproductive procedure for somebody else?
Yeah. And that's a great question. To me, I think it's a sense of the greater good. I would have to say that everybody that I come across, every patient that I see, even my friends and colleagues, I think everybody knows someone who's suffering from infertility or requires these treatments. So if it's not you yourself, your best friend, your daughter, your colleague might be suffering from infertility, and it's really towards a sense of the greater good and helping patients achieve families.
And this is a national tax break, but it can be also combined with whatever assistance is offered in the province where you live.
Right. So assistance with fertility treatment certainly varies from province to province. We're very, very lucky here in Ontario that the government just announced an initiative in 2015 that anyone who carries a valid OHIP card and is under the age of 43 is eligible for one cycle of IVF. and that's really great, and we've really seen an increase in patients coming and being able to undergo this treatment because it's now much more affordable. But the government coverage in Ontario and certainly in other provinces does not cover all of the medical treatment. Only certain parts of the procedure are covered. The drug costs could be enormous, and so the tax credit will certainly help a large population achieve their goals.
Good. So good to explore more of this with you. Thanks, Dr. Sharma.
No problem. Thank you for having me.